However, as you follow in the way of knowledge and as you take the steps to knowledge, this experience will grow for you. It will grow most significantly because the seemingly great gulf between you and the greater reality that permeates your life and that gives your life its real meaning and purpose is being penetrated. The veil that seems to separate you from this experience and awareness is slowly being dissolved. It is not that you will have more experiences of grace in a momentary sense. It is that grace will become closer and closer to you. The greater reality and your personal reality will come closer and closer together. As they come closer and closer together, your personal reality will change and be strengthened. It will have a greater focus and a greater emphasis on meaning and accomplishment. This is where your values and your interests gradually change in a way that is so natural and life-confirming for you that over time you will not doubt that a greater power is at work in your life. You will see the evidence of this greater power in your own changing feelings and emphasis. You will see the evidence of this in your changing relationships and their changing emphasis. You will see the evidence of this in the presence of your deeper inclinations, which will now have greater access and greater expression in your personal mind and in your conscious experience. You will see the evidence of this in what you value and what you seek. You will seek things that are permanent and that are bonded with life. You will not seek to impose your individual will, but to express a greater will that confirms your existence and that honors the presence of all who are here with you, regardless of their difficulties or their mistakes. This will give you an emphasis on forgiveness and accomplishment, on recognition and right decisions. This will be an entirely different emphasis than what you had felt before. Grace will be more and more with you, but in a subtle and pervasive way. Instead of flashes of lightning illuminating your life momentarily, it is as if a great dawning were occurring and the shadows of your life were gently being dissolved by the presence of a great light emerging on the horizon. Here the evidence of what is really in your life and where you really need to go slowly becomes realized. Your decisions will either bring the experience of grace or deny it. No matter how difficult your decisions or how seemingly serious their consequences, when you make a decision that is in keeping with knowledge, you will feel this presence with you. Perhaps you will feel anxiety about the anticipated or the imagined consequences, but you will feel a rightness in your life. This will give evidence that grace is with you, for every decision that you make that is in keeping with knowledge will acknowledge the presence of grace in your life. Every determination that you make that is in keeping with the greater truth within you will give you a greater experience of this truth and a greater sense of its presence and activity in your life and in the world around you. Grace is something that is emerging slowly, like a very slow dawning of the light. Here things that seemed mysterious or incomprehensible before can be recognized, felt and known. Perhaps you cannot explain them because the experience is beyond words. But that is not so important now because you realize that an explanation can never illuminate the life of another. It is only the presence of grace and the activity of knowledge that can give others a greater experience and perception of their lives and a greater determination within themselves. Here you come to understand that grace is the evidence of the Creator's presence in the world, a presence that works behind the scenes and that does not overshadow, dominate or manipulate those who are here. This presence gently reassures people and calls upon knowledge within each of them to enable them to respond and to learn the way of relationship, which is the way of knowledge. There is grace in your life, and to enable you to experience it and eventually to express it and generate it, you were presented with a preparation in the greater community way of knowledge. Follow this preparation. Receive it, for this is the gift and the means that will bring you to a greater understanding and experience of your purpose and to the greater purpose in life of which you are a part. The answer to your prayers is a means of preparation. If you were sunk in a hole in the ground and could not climb out, the answer to your prayer would be a ladder sent down to enable you to find your way out. Being in the world is like being in a deep, dark hole in the ground. All you see is the darkness and the confinement of that which entraps you. The answer to your prayer for freedom, for resolution, for peace, for strength and for accomplishment is a ladder sent down to you, a ladder which you must climb, a ladder which will lift you out of your seemingly hopeless circumstances into a greater experience of where you have been, where you can go and what can be done. Grace brings with it the means for experiencing it. It is not something you simply beg for and is given to you in little tiny increments. Grace is given to you because the preparation for it is given to you. You must find your way to it. It is with you, but you are not with it. This demonstrates the great dilemma of your life and the most serious problem of your life, that knowledge is with you, but you are not with knowledge. Grace is with you, but you are not with grace. Real relationship is with you, but you are not with real relationship. Where can you possibly be if you are not being with what really is? Where can you possibly be if you are not being with the greater reality that is the foundation, meaning and context of your life? The only place that you can be is in your thoughts. And your thoughts weave themselves around your awareness until they are all that you can see. They govern your perception, and they govern your behavior. They determine your goals and aspirations. Your thoughts represent the hole in the ground and the walls around you that block your vision, that contain your experience and that limit your freedom and your ability to be in meaningful relationships. To be lifted out of this situation requires preparation, and it requires you to follow this preparation because you yourself must climb out. In this, you will regain your strength, your determination, your perseverance and your true will born of knowledge. Here you learn the way of escape, not from the world, but from the contradiction of being dominated by your own personal mind. Grace reminds you that this is possible. Grace enables your escape to take place, and grace encourages you to proceed. The door to your prison cell is open. You can push it open at any time. You can walk out into the light of day. For this to happen, however, you must be willing to have a different experience of yourself and a different determination within you. You must be open and desiring of a greater life, a life that is not in keeping with your past, and that will bring you out of the confinement of living within your personal mind. As a result of this escape, even your personal mind will be refreshed, renewed and restored, for your personal mind's greater purpose is to serve knowledge. Your personal mind, like your personal body, is a temporary vehicle in life. Its greatest service, its greatest union and its greatest security are born of its service to a greater power, the greater power that assures your reality, your mission, your origin and your destiny. This greater power is with you now. Knowledge is with you now. Grace is with you now. The Creator is with you now. The relationships that you will truly need in life exist now. You must find your way to them, and they will find their way to you. Find the way to knowledge, and knowledge would be able to emerge into your mind. Find your way to grace, and grace will have a place to abide with you not just momentarily but permanently, as it is meant to. For the experience that we are speaking of can only be realized as you open yourself to it and as you become truly honest about your deeper inclinations. Here we must give a greater definition of honesty. Honesty is not only knowing what you feel. Honesty is feeling what you know. Here your personal mind and the deeper mind that is your true nature touch each other, and there is grace. Here there is sobriety about life. There is quiet awareness. And there are deeper feelings and motivations. As you touch knowledge, your greater self and your greater association with life, then grace will be experienced. Knowledge takes you to grace again and again, not as a momentary experience, not as a highlight of a long and dreary life, and not only as a flash of lightning, but as an abiding reality and experience within yourself. You can find a way to knowledge because a way has been given. You can take the steps to knowledge because the steps have been given. This is the work of grace, for grace would be incomplete if it did not give you the means for its total realization and experience. The Creator would be leaving you out in the cold of life if a way to the Creator were not given to you. The evidence of grace is expressed in those wonderful and reassuring moments when a greater truth is experienced and a greater association and relationship with life is felt. However, the evidence of grace is more completely substantiated by your realization that you have a great need to fulfill your purpose and mission here, and that this need is more powerful and more urgent than anything else that you feel or recognize. This great need calls for and readies you to prepare. It gives you a new direction and a new impetus. It calls God to you, and it calls you to God. It calls you to those significant people that you will need in your life, and it calls them to you. It is as if a great switch had been thrown and all of a sudden a whole new set of factors come into play. Subtle will be your experience of them at first, but you will know within yourself that something has changed. You turned a corner somewhere. You crossed an invisible line. Something happened to you somewhere back there. Now you feel a little bit different. There is something growing and emerging within you, a deeper experience from a part of you that you can barely recognize and certainly cannot define. Your great need and the great need of the universe have just recognized each other. As a result of this recognition, a greater purpose is stimulated, a purpose that you will have to carry like a great pregnancy and that you will have to labor with to a certain degree in order to bring it forth into the world. It will change your ideas, and it will alter your experience, but only to bring them into a greater resonance and a greater relationship with the purpose that you carry, the mission that you serve and the life to which you are intrinsically and forever bonded. Then you will come to know grace not only as a momentary experience, but as an activity in your life. And your understanding of this will grow and expand as you are able to proceed. Your grace will be something that you can identify, even during those moments when you cannot feel it directly, because you will know it is there. This will not require belief as much as it will require acceptance. Here you will not be trying to believe in something you cannot experience. Instead, you will be trying to accept something that you know is in your life. And you will know it is in your life because you will have experienced it increasingly and because you will have seen the evidence of its work within you and around you. This is the silent, subtle activity of the Creator reclaiming the separated through knowledge. It is renewing you and others by the activation of a greater awareness and a greater purpose that has brought you into the world, a purpose in keeping with the evolution of life, a purpose that is yours to find and to discover. The real confirmation of grace will come as you are able to realize that there has been a greater intervention and support in your life to enable you to meet a greater need and a greater desire. This will renew your awareness that you are in relationship with something very significant here. Then grace will not merely be a momentary and dramatic experience, but instead will become the living foundation of your life.